And with that being said, and with the hockey season now drawing to a close, I have had to find a secondary sport to be reporting on, which I've gone ahead and done. And now you will be tasked with finding a secondary sport after next week when your basketball goes away. But I have a little report about the PLL if you'd like to hear.
The Professional Lacrosse League.
Premier Lacrosse League.
Oh, I'm sorry. Premier Lacrosse. P means a lot of different things.
There's a lot of things the P could have been.
Yeah.
You weren't far off. But yes, the Premier Lacrosse League is the newest incarnation of our outdoor or field lacrosse, replacing the MLL, which is who our Denver Outlaws used to play under back in the day. But the MLL folded after a COVID-shortened 2020 season, and the upstart PLL, which is doing a few interesting things, considering, we've kind of covered the young and early stages of many new sports leagues that have risen up in our coverage here. So the PLL is doing a touring schedule where they intentionally are doing like the takeover tour. What they're doing is they're taking the whole league on tour at the time. So each week they go to one of the host cities and play all of their games over that weekend.
Yeah, it's a super cool idea. I wish the PWHL.
There you go.
Yep. Too many acronyms. PWHL would do the same thing because I'd like to see some of the other teams play, like
It's
New York Siren here in the state.
Absolutely. It's a very fun idea for a way to get all of the talent in your league around to all the different locations. Currently, the PLL features 8 teams touring 14 weeks in the summer. They are specifically designed not to overlap with either the NCAA fall season nor the NLL, which is still in operation, Indoor Lacrosse League, which runs the December to like May sort of time window of traditional sort of winter sports. So they're going to be the Summer League. They do 14 weeks, only on weekends. They already have a broadcast deal. They originally picked up with NBC Universal for their first 3 years in existence and are currently in a 3-year deal with Disney/ESPN. So I was actually able to catch our Denver Outlaws playing the Utah Archers earlier this morning on ABC.
Which is funny because the Outlaws is one of the teams that the Utah Hockey Club
wanted to name themselves. And in another egregious case of Utah biting our style, the Utah Archers play in orange and blue.
I haven't seen those colors anywhere around here.
Nowhere.
I will say, though, I don't know if you know much about our Outlaws team, but I'm pretty sure the Outlaws are like a super team, kind of, because we have 3 of the best lacrosse players from college, like in 3 different years.
Sure, I definitely believe that. I did not do a ton of research into our roster just yet. I only caught the first. Basically, I caught on to the highlight from our last week of play. We are in week 4 of the PLL season currently, of their 14-week run. It's going to be 10 weeks of regular season games. There's going to be an all-star weekend somewhere in the middle there. And then there are going to be 3 weekends for playoffs. Going to have, I think, very similar to our PWHL, probably just the 2 semifinal rounds before you find your 2 finalists in an 8-team league. But yes, we are in. So I caught the week 3 action where the Outlaws got their first win of the season against the Philadelphia Water Dogs. And then, like I said, I was able to tune in this morning for the Outlaws' very dramatic come-from-behind victory against those Utah Archers. In the third quarter of this game, they were down 10-5 and were able to rally up for a 13-10 win.
It's a big win.
That's a huge comfort. Based on the first bits of the game that I saw, I was like, not a great look for our Outlaws to start the year, but they dug in deep and pulled out. Now, I have not paid a whole lot of attention to lacrosse over the years. I've been to a few of our Colorado Mammoth games with our indoor team over at Ball Arena in their history, but in watching some actual PLL, I'm a little surprised that we have not followed lacrosse, you and I, because it's basically a hybrid of our 2 sports.
Yeah, it's Lacrosse is it's like an interesting sport. Like I never got the handling
It's
of the stick is like
it's
the
a
toughest.
very unique, motion for the cradling of the ball in the netted stick handle. But yeah, for those unfamiliar, lacrosse in this instance is played on a 100 by 60 yard field. So generally, soccer, football fields are perfectly adequate, with nets on either side for scoring into. Each team gets a goalie and then 6 additional players on the field, but they do sort of hockey style in play player change ups so that when you go on defense, you kind of sub out 2 of your offensive guys for more defenders. And that happens in a 20-yard changing zone off to the side of the midfield. So it's kind of doing line changes as you go. But when possession changes, there is a shot clock a la basketball. And then you are attempting to get the lacrosse ball past the goalie into the net that you're shooting on. PLL has added a 2-point line for shots past 15 feet. You can score 2 points at once.
I'd say that's a new innovation from.
That is a new wrinkle that is not existent in the indoor game. And then they have a very interesting wrinkle, I thought. When the ball is going to be going out of bounds, regardless of whichever team caused the ball to go out, it's whoever's closest to the boundary it goes out at. So it's interesting because normally if you were shooting and missing, the ball would just be out of bounds and it's like, oh, that's a loss of possession. But if you have, the right strategy and good hustle and whatnot, you can kind of keep back possessions that way. A very interesting sort of wrinkle to it. And then so that's the basics of the game itself. The teams play 4 quarters with a halftime in the middle, attempting to see who can get the most goals in that time. And the sort of other interesting wrinkle from a business side of the PLL is that they are building off of a notion of, and we've heard about this a lot, including more player equity into the success of the league so that when the league grows, all of the players are able to enjoy that success. They've also built their media arm in such a way that they are basically open sourcing all of the media that is generated by the league for the players' use. So in the way that LeBron can't technically go on Instagram and post his own LA Lakers highlights because that's property of the league, PLL players can kind of take their own highlight footages and reels and whatnot and market themselves that way.
Yeah, market yourself, and you also get growth from the league because people want to come to watch all the cool things that you do.
And I will say, in exploring just a little bit of their YouTube and stuff, their media department is pretty good. They have some pretty high quality videos up already, as far as introductions to the sport and to the action of the game. So I will go ahead and keep us up to date on our Denver Outlaws this summer, and hopefully they pull up out of there. They're 500 now, 2-2. But it is only going to be the top 4 teams, I think, that make the playoffs. So got some work to do.
Yeah, another young league. I think we do have potential there. Like we said, the other Outlaws team that we've had been very successful here in the Mile High State, winning a number of different championships and whatnot.
I think, I did a little history digging. I think they had 3 championships with 10 finals appearances.
Yeah, they were very good. We seem to breed pretty good lacrosse teams. Know what we're doing over here.
Yeah, I mean, DU had a pretty dominant lacrosse team for a little while, at least.
I think we still do.
Probably. Yeah, so another little growing sport there, and we'll find we'll find sports news for every week.
Yeah, actually, I kind of do like going into some of the smaller niche sports. Let's grow some things and find some things.
Well, like I said, your turn comes next week when you get to tell us about what you're going to cover after the NBA.
I'm so excited.
Absolutely.